Chapter 131, 131, Chapter 131, The Demigod Kingdom, Space Blockade. Demigod Kingdom. Su Yang squinted his eyes and immediately understood that the skeleton monarch had brought him into his demigod kingdom. This is my country. I've killed a few demigod-level enemies before. I've placed their corpses here. Under the special rules of my divine realm, the divine energy on this demigod's corpse is gradually being disintegrated and integrated into my kingdom. The energy that's permeating the surroundings will be of great benefit to you after you absorb it. This is the reward I'm giving you, the skeletal sovereign said proudly. Then he patted Su Yang's shoulder and continued. You stay here and absorb the energy. I'll come back later. After saying that, the skeletal monarch seemed to be in a hurry to leave. Su Yang could feel that the skeleton sovereign's slightly shaking figure was also a little excited when it left. Seeing this scene, his eyes became even more profound. There must be something wrong with this skeleton monarch, Su Yang thought to himself, and was secretly on guard. However, he was not sure what the skeleton monarch's goal was. Su Yang paid attention to it. After that, he felt the divine energy permeating the surroundings and absorbed a little. Feel the divine energy. Initial absorption of some divine energy. Level increased, current level, LV60. Received 600 free attribute points, 3 divinity points. As soon as he absorbed the divine energy, Su Yang's level increased by 1. This divine energy can actually be converted into a large amount of experience points. Feeling the increase in his level, Su Yang was a little stunned. Of course, just absorbing a little divine energy would not be enough to convert into experience points for the upgrade. The reason he was able to level up this time was because of the experience points he had obtained from killing the 700,000 undead monsters. He was actually close to leveling up. Therefore, he absorbed some more experience points from the conversion of divine energy to make up for the last experience needed for the upgrade. This allowed him to level up and reach level 60. After reaching gold rank, the experience Su Yang gained from killing silver rank monsters was 1/3 of what he had gained when he was at silver rank, or even less. This was also the reason why the XP gained from killing 700,000 silver tier undead monsters was not even enough for him to level up once. I'm level 60. The soul fire in Su Yang's eyes flickered, and he was a little excited. He thought that he still had 9 upgrade cards that he had not used. In other words, as long as he leveled up once more, he would be able to use 9 upgrade cards directly and quickly reach the upper limit of gold rank. Level 1. Just 1 more level would be enough. And this demigod kingdom was filled with divine energy that could be converted into experience points. It should be enough for him to level up. Su Yang was a little excited. However, he did not forget to be alert of his surroundings. As he continued to absorb the divine energy, he silently sensed the myriad world teleportation array. They were prepared to retreat by crushing the rocks. Then, just as he was feeling the myriad world teleportation portal, suddenly he felt a resistance. There is a skeleton lord in this area. All teleportation abilities within the divine zone have been sealed. It actually sealed the space and restricted the use of any teleportation ability. The soul fire in Su Yang's eyes flickered, and he continued to sense the myriad world teleportation formation. The multiverse teleportation formation has broken through the spatial seal of this god kingdom. The myriad world teleportation array has been slightly affected by the space blockade. It will take 3 minutes to activate. The unparalleled skill, the myriad world teleportation formation, could be used even in this demigod kingdom that was sealed in space. However, it would take some time. After hearing this news, Su Yang was overjoyed. It was indeed a supreme-level skill. Now that he had a way out, he was not in a hurry to leave. He planned to absorb some divine energy, convert it into experience, and level up first. Thus, Su Yang began to actively absorb the divine energy of the divine kingdom. This demigod kingdom was very large and was equivalent to a world. It was also called the demigod world, a world controlled by demigods. The divine energy that filled the surroundings quickly merged into his body as he absorbed it. If one observed the divine energy carefully, one would find a trace of impurity in it. It was very likely that the skeletal monarch had left something behind. However, none of this had any effect on Su Yang. Every time he absorbed a trace of divine energy, he would use Heart Slayer condensed from void/characteristics to scan this energy. Then he cut off all the impurities in it. Only the purest divine energy was left, which was converted into experience points. At the same time, Su Yang was also using his illusory fate attribute ability to make a fate trajectory that he had not cut off the impurities in the divine energy. His goal was to confuse the skeleton sovereign as much as possible. That was because Su Yang felt that there was a high chance that he had left some tricks in the divine energy. If he removed the impurities in the divine energy, it was likely to alarm him. For the time being, he still wanted to absorb enough divine energy and convert it into experience to level up again, so he didn't want to alert the skeleton lord so early. Time passed by slowly. The skeletal sovereign was preparing for something and had yet to return. Su Yang didn't mind. He was now fully absorbing the divine energy. An hour later, absorb a large amount of divine energy. Divine energy has been converted into a large number of experience points. Level increased. Current level LV61. Received 600 free attribute points, 3 divinity points. Ahoo! 1 hour to level up. This speed. Su Yang slowly opened his eyes. His soul fire flickered, and his heart was already filled with joy. The speed of this upgrade was somewhat beyond his expectations. He did not expect that after absorbing the divine energy for only an hour, the experience points he gained would allow him to level up again. With his current gold tier level 60 strength, the amount of experience points he needed to level up every time was in the hundreds of millions. Such a huge amount of experience was required. Now he only needed to absorb divine energy for an hour, and that would be enough. I'm level 61. Unfortunately, the upgrade card is only useful for those below platinum. Otherwise, I would like to absorb it a little longer. Su Yang gently shook his head. Then, he took out 9 forced upgrade cards, and the soul fire in his eyes flickered. He was thinking, should he directly raise his level to the upper limit of gold rank? After reaching the upper limit of gold rank, just like before, the promotion mission would be triggered immediately. The promotion mission that was triggered immediately was not what Su Yang wanted. He wanted to take the initiative to trigger the promotion mission like last time and control the promotion mission within his control. He thought for a moment. Su Yang crushed the upgrade card in his hand. Chapter 132, 132 Chapter 132, Levels Upgrading, God Tier, Sir Evil Eye Takes Action. Level increased, current level LV62. Received 600 independent attribute points, 3 divinity points. Level increased, current level LV69. Received 600 independent attribute points, 3 divinity points. He had crushed a total of 8 upgrade cards, leaving 1 card behind. He controlled his level to 69. He allocated the independent attribute points that he had gained from leveling up. Su Yang looked at the accumulation of his godhood. Divinity 82. 82 divinity points. Looking at the godhood he had accumulated, Su Yang revealed a smile. The skeleton sovereign had been secretly monitoring Su Yang. After sensing that Su Yang's level and strength had improved significantly, he was suddenly excited. This was because Su Yang's level and strength could increase so much in such a short time. He must have absorbed a large amount of divine energy from his divine scripture. In this divine energy, he had left behind some unique means. The purpose was to better accept the form of Su Yang's Skeleton King in the future. The Skeleton King. It's said that the Skeleton clan is the most special type with the greatest potential. It's also the natural talent of the Skeleton clan. I didn't expect to encounter it. As long as I devour the tyrant, I'll advance from my current form to the form of a Navy Lord. With my accumulated foundation, the chances of me becoming a god will greatly increase. The skeletal sovereign was extremely excited. The soul fire in its eyes burned vigorously, and it was filled with desire. He had never felt so close to the orange and green gods before. We can't wait any longer. The knight must have figured something out. If he tells Evil Eye about this, things will get out of hand. The skeletal sovereign thought to himself. He knew a lot about the ruler of the Evil Eye region. He would never allow anyone in his region to threaten him. Thinking of this, the skeleton sovereign felt a sense of urgency. In a flash, it appeared beside Su Yang. At this moment, he no longer had the kind attitude he had before. He held a long sword made of the bones of an unknown creature valley, and rushed towards Su Yang with a powerful aura. Su Yang was already on guard. Facing the sudden appearance of the skeleton monarch that was releasing its aura to suppress him, he immediately activated the title of the undead king given by the rank of death. Immediately, a huge pressure of death emanated from the skeleton lord's body, resisting the aura of the skeleton lord. The power of the death's rank. As expected of the skeleton king, the skeleton clan is born to look up to you. Tyrant, even if your aptitude can't be compared to heavenly sons, you're definitely the only one in the entire heaven realm that can compare to him. What a pity. Very soon, your skeleton king's aptitude will be mine. He discovered that the death aura emitted by Su Yang's body was actually able to resist his demigod-level pressure. The skeletal lord sensed it carefully and could feel a trace of the power of death. He was immediately excited. Wasn't this kind of aptitude and potential what he had been looking forward to? HMPH. Su Yang snorted coldly. At this moment, he also understood that the skeleton monarch was eyeing the form of the skeleton king that he had transformed into. Furthermore, he had mistakenly thought that his death's rank ability had been obtained from the skeleton king form. He didn't say much. The eternal dusk's effect had yet to end. Su Yang waved his heart slayer and directly slashed at the skeleton sovereign. More than 700,000 slaughter status buffs, coupled with the perfected thunder saber intent, condensed together and turned into a saber light with supreme power, slashing toward the skeleton monarch. Tyrant, stop struggling. It's all in vain. The gap between you and me is too big. The skeletal sovereign saw that Su Yang still dared to attack it. Instead of dodging, it chose to block it. He wanted to let Tyrant know the difference between them, to make Tyrant despair and give up on resisting. This way, he could easily devour and merge into Tyrant's skeleton king body. However, when the blade hit his body, it left a deep mark on his body. How is this possible? Feeling the pain in his body, the skeletal monarch was in disbelief. This was completely different from what he had thought. That was because his body had condensed 87% of the body of a god. It should be immune to low-level attacks. Even though the power of Tyrant's slash had been greatly enhanced, it was still an attack below demigod level. It was still a low-level attack. Existences with the body of a god could be immune to all such low-level attacks. Although his divine body was only 87% condensed, he should be immune to the Tyrant's attacks without any problem. But now what had happened? The Tyrant's attack had hurt its body. This simply subverted the skeleton lord's understanding. Su Yang, on the other hand, frowned slightly when he saw the effect of the knife. He was a little dissatisfied. This was because, apart from the 700,000 layers of slaughter effect enhancement and the perfect thunder saber, this attack of his was unexpected. It also had the void slash characteristic. More importantly, he had just put on the title of Godslayer. This was the title he had obtained after killing the Dusk Evil God's clone. In other words, at least 10% of the power of the attack was enough to hurt the skeleton lord. In the end, it only left a mark on the skeleton sovereign's body. It seems like I've underestimated the strength of a demigod. Su Yang's eyes flickered with soul fire as he looked at the blade marks on the skeleton monarch's body. At the same time, his grandfather secretly activated the myriad world teleportation formation and planned to retreat. He was confident that he could kill the skeletal monarch after using all his cards, but his true identity might be exposed. Therefore, retreating was a delicate choice. However, just as he was about to activate the teleportation array and retreat, all of a sudden, a pressure that was even more terrifying than the skeleton sovereign's appeared and covered the skeleton sovereign's demigod kingdom. Sir Evil Eye. The skeletal sovereign felt this terrifying pressure and panicked. He didn't know why the Evil Eye ruler had appeared at this time. Don't panic, skeleton. I'll allow you to break through. However, I sense that this little guy seems to be running away, so I'll help you. A loud voice came from far away from the demigod kingdom. Chapter 133. 133. The situation changes suddenly. The skeletal sovereign did not believe him at all, but he also guessed that Evil Eye ruler would not be able to make it in time. Sealing off his own demigod kingdom was not only to prevent Tyrant from escaping, but also to trap him. It seems like I can only take down the Tyrant first and think of other ways. The soul fire in the skeletal monarch's eyes flickered. It held the bone sword in its hand and was about to attack. The myriad world teleportation array has been seriously affected. It will take 50 minutes to activate. At this time, Su Yang was also a little stunned. He didn't expect that a god-level existence would actually make a move. After sealing the space, the time for the myriad world teleportation array to break out of the siege was actually reduced to 50 minutes. Looking at the skeleton sovereign that was about to attack him, Su Yang knew that he had to risk his life this time. However, before that, he took out the last upgrade card and crushed it. Level increased, current level, LV70. Received 600 independent attribute points, 3 divinity points. Level has reached the upper limit of gold rank. Advancement mission completed. Higher level of access unlocked. Tyrant, you can't run away. Rather than fighting to the death, why don't you give up on resisting? I'll let you die quickly without letting you feel any pain. The skeletal monarch held the bone sword in its hand and stepped in the air, approaching Su Yang step by step. With every step it took, the skeleton sovereign's aura grew stronger. Not only that, but his strength would also be significantly improved. He was an existence that could grow to the demigod level. The skeletal lord also had some skills or innate abilities that could increase its strength. Although it wasn't as overpowered as Su Yang's endless slaughter, which had unlimited killing effects. However, in front of ordinary abilities that could increase one's strength, it was still considered a top-notch existence. But now, Evil Eye Ruler was outside. Tyrant was inside, and it had the ability to hurt his divine body. Therefore, the skeletal lord did not plan to waste time with Tyrant. He wanted to defeat the Tyrant in his strongest form. It then quickly devoured and fused with Tyrant's skeleton king form. When that time came, he would find a way to break the Evil Eye Ruler's spatial seal and escape the Evil Eye region. As long as he could survive and become a god, the Evil Eye Ruler's threat would naturally disappear. And at this moment, as Su Yang crushed the last upgrade card, he reached level 70. It was because of the threat of the skeleton sovereign. He immediately triggered the promotion mission. It detected that professional, heavenly son currently met the conditions. A promotion mission activated. Mission requirements: 1. Kill demigod-level skeleton monarch. 2. Escape Evil Eye's threat and the skeleton lord's demigod realm. 3. Ensure your own safety. Unlocked level 7190 after mission completion. Mission reward: all attributes increase by 100%, every level up plus 1200 independent attribute points, plus 10 divinity points, plus 1 chaos point. Chaos points. This might be what the gods desire. It might not just be chaos points. I've only broken through to platinum grade now. After that, I'll become a diamond grade demigod and an undying god. These two advancements will definitely have even more unimaginable rewards. The uniqueness of an advanced myth is about to be revealed starting from platinum grade. Su Yang quickly glanced at the promotion mission information and the reward for completing the mission. After seeing the new chaos point that appeared, Su Yang could not help but think. However, he didn't have time to think about these things. That was because the skeletal monarch was already closing in. Come! The skeleton sovereign looked at Tyrant and shouted. However, there was no reaction at all. The skeletal lord looked at Tyrant, who had no reaction and was a little confused. He was sure that the backup he had left in the divine energy was still there. In his realization, Tyrant had absorbed a large amount of divine energy. The things in the divine energy should have also entered Tyrant's body. But now, why was the Tyrant not affected by him? Su Yang originally thought that the skeleton monarch was going to make a move, so he held the Heart Slayer and waited. He didn't expect that the other party would just wave his hand and shout at him and not do anything else. And then he tied his hair on the spot. Although Su Yang had some doubts about this, he did not allow himself to think too much about it. He knew that there was a god-level, undead lord outside the demigod realm. Therefore, he had to end the battle quickly and escape after killing the skeleton sovereign. Otherwise, he might have to face the god-level undead ruler. Su Yang felt that with his current strength, he would not be able to fight against the god-level undead ruler. He still had to try his best to avoid meeting the god-level undead dominator. Without any hesitation, Su Yang directly activated the face-meeting Titan form. In an instant, Su Yang's body transformed from the Skeleton King into a Titan that was hundreds of meters tall. Moreover, it was a destruction Titan with terrifying destructive power, especially now, when he was still in the state of more than 700,000 layers of slaughter. With the destruction Titan's strength, in addition to the slaughter effect state, his overall strength had increased by more than 700,000 times. At this moment, the destruction Titan that Su Yang had transformed into seemed to possess the ability to destroy everything. Moreover, he had also activated the destruction halo granted by the destruction level. In that instant, the skeletal monarch's deity world was a little unstable. This is a Titan. Impossible. How can a tyrant become a Titan? Isn't he from the undead skeleton clan? Damn it, can someone tell me what is going on? The skeletal lord raised its head in confusion and looked at the incomparably tall destruction Titan. The soul fire in its eye sockets shrank as it muttered to itself in disbelief. This is Destruction Titan. There's actually a Destruction Titan in heaven. No, this is the tyrant. What skill is this? Or some sort of talent? Chapter 134, 134, Chapter 134. The ability to destroy everything, ignoring resurrection. At this time, on a battlefield at the junction of the netherworld and the abyss world, countless undead monsters and abyssal monsters were fighting each other. In the sky, the experts of the undead race and the demon experts of the abyss were also fighting. From time to time, experts would die, and as one of the undead rulers, leading the undead world's army to battle against the abyss, the evil eye ruler stood behind the undead army, facing off against the abyss's strangers. In this kind of war, the main role of god-level existence was to deter others. They rarely made a move. Only in the final stages of the war would god-level existences make a move. Thus, Evil Eye Ruler still had some extra time. Not long ago, when he received the notice from his subordinate, the Nightmare Night King, he immediately set his eyes on the Evil Eye region, which he ruled. He looked at the Skeleton King's demigod realm. The result was the same as the Nightmare Night King's envy. The skeleton, indeed, didn't want to become undying without his permission. However, the war between the Netherworld and the Abyss world was currently in its most intense phase. It wasn't good for him to leave the battlefield. Therefore, he directly used his divine power to seal the skeleton's demigod realm. This way, even if the skeleton obtained an opportunity, it would not be able to leave its demigod kingdom in a short time. After the intensity of the war had reduced a little, he could return for the time being and deal with the skeleton lord. He had thought that this would be foolproof, but what he didn't expect was that things had developed completely beyond his imagination. In his opinion, Tyrant, who was only a gold rank, had no ability to resist the skeleton lord. However, what did he see now? Tyrant's voice had actually changed into a destructive titan that could destroy the heavens and earth. Even the Evil Eye Ruler was stunned by this sudden turn of events. Skeleton die. This is, Evil Eye Ruler quickly came to a realization. At this moment, he really wanted to rush back immediately and study this undead skeleton called Tyrant. However, sensing the strange gaze of the other person, he knew that he could not leave at all for the time being. Damn it! Kill, the Evil Eye Ruler couldn't help but growl. Then he consumed a part of his victory and divinity to form a divine avatar with half his strength. He let his clone go back on his behalf. "I hope we can make it in time," the evil eye ruler thought as he watched the avatar leave. He then looked at the skeleton lord's demigod realm, and his eyes widened. Because, in his line of sight, at that moment, the tyrant in its destruction titan form was beating the skeleton lord to the ground. "It's a misunderstanding. Tyrant, what happened this time is a complete misunderstanding." The skeletal monarch, who had 87% of its divine body condensed, took two of Su Yang's attacks head-on. It couldn't take it anymore and shouted. He didn't expect that the tyrant, who was supposed to be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, would turn into a titan that could face everything in the next second. Who could have thought of this? If he had known all this earlier, he would not have dared to attack the tyrant. However, it was too late to regret now. Su Yang did not hold back at all. After simply attacking the skeleton lord twice, he confirmed that the destruction titan's attack could cause damage to the skeleton lord. He waved the enlarged Heart Slayer. As he transformed into the destruction titan, Heart Slayer also automatically grew in size. It was over 100 meters long. "Don't even think about escaping, just quietly wait for your death," Su Yang said indifferently as he looked at the tiny skeleton sovereign under his feet. The skeletal lord wanted to run, but where could he run to? The evil eye had already sealed off the space of his own demigod realm. At that moment, the skeleton sovereign finally felt what true despair was. The next moment, Su Yang waved his 100-meter-long machete and slashed at the skeleton monarch. The huge blade broke through the air and let out a series of rumbling sounds. At this moment, not only did the Heart Slayer gather a vast amount of lightning, but it also carried a powerful destructive power. At that moment, the blade glinted. It struck the skeleton lord's body. Even though his body had already condensed 87% of the body of a god. Under this blade, they were also turned into pieces. At the same time, the skeleton monarch did not resurrect after the attack. It killed skeleton lord undead race, Diamond. Received 60 divinity points. Acquired special ability, Rebirth +1. Acquired skeleton lord level death, 87%. No resurrection. He was actually killed just like that. Looking at the skeleton monarch that had died under his blade, Su Yang, who was in the destruction titan form, could not help but frown with his eyes burning with a destructive aura. He felt that things shouldn't be so simple. It must be known that among the enemies killed by Su Yang, even some of the gold rank enemies had some skills or items that could resurrect them. The skeletal lord was a demigod-level undead lord. How could he not have any means of resurrection? Originally, Su Yang had been prepared to wait for the skeleton monarch to resurrect, and then attack again until he killed it completely. He didn't expect that he would die in one blow. The information plundered by the forbidden talent would not lie to him. The skeleton monarch definitely has an additional resurrection method. Su Yang firmly believed in this. And now, after he had destroyed the titan form and killed him, he actually did not directly revive. Su Yang's thoughts couldn't help but return to his own body and the destruction titan form. Destruction titan. There's also the destruction halo given by the destruction level. Soon he remembered that this time he could kill the skeleton monarch in one go without the possibility of resurrection. With the delusion breaker eye, he checked the power of the destruction titan as well as the level of destruction, the destruction halo. He soon realized resurrection is useless under destruction. Su Yang's eyes lit up. He then carefully studied the power of destruction. He came to a certain conclusion in his heart. An attack with destructive power has a chance to directly destroy the enemy, rendering the enemy's resurrection ability ineffective. However, the current level of destruction was only 1%, so the probability of destroying the enemy's resurrection ability was not high. However, the destruction Titan form naturally had the power of destruction. Therefore, when the power of the destruction Titan form and the power of the destruction level combined, there was a great chance that after killing the enemy, it could directly destroy all the resurrection methods of the enemy. Actually, the resurrection method was very brilliant. I didn't expect the power of destruction to have such a use. Su Yang was overjoyed. He had long wanted an ability that could counter those enemies who had resurrection techniques. He had thought that it would be difficult to find such an ability. He didn't expect that he already had it. Chapter 135, 135, Chapter 135. Destroying the demigod realm and stabilizing the divine power. The destruction Titan form can't be used frequently, but the condensation of the destruction level can be continuously increased. It seems that after breaking through to platinum grade, the first thing I have to improve is the destruction plane. After thinking for a long time, Su Yang quickly made a decision. Then he collected his thoughts and looked at the things that the forbidden talent had plundered from the skeleton monarch. 60 divinity points, 1 revival count, and the level of death had been condensed to 87%. 60 divinity points. Even demigods only have 60 divinity points. I'm stuck there. Divinity points are rarer than I thought. He had only obtained 60 divinity points from the demigod-level skeleton monarch. This was beyond his expectations. From what he could see, a demigod, an existence that had touched the threshold of undying, would at least have over 100 divine points, right? He didn't expect that he would only get 60 divinity points. Su Yang himself had 85 divinity points from his previous accumulation, and the divinity points needed to upgrade Butterfly. It was even richer than the demigod-level skeleton sovereign, and this was mainly due to his advanced myth rank, which allowed him to obtain 3 divinity points for every attack he made while he was at gold rank. Advanced myth. Su Yang's eyes flickered. He was very glad that he had been so determined to challenge the advanced stage of myth. After that, because of his advanced myth, he was targeted by powerhouses from all over the world in heaven before he even stepped out of the blue planet. However, correspondingly, he had also obtained many opportunities and benefits from advancing to myth. Finally, he looked at the level of death, whose condensation had reached 87%. Su Yang didn't expect that the forbidden talent plundering this time would be so powerful. He directly plundered all of the skeletal lord's death level, 87% condensation level of death, in addition to the 1% of his original death threshold. In an instant, his death level had reached 88%. In one leap, he had become the existence with the highest degree of condensation among all the abilities he currently possessed. This also pointed out another way for Su Yang to improve his level condensation. That was to kill a god. Of course, he couldn't completely give up on the ability to swallow gold. These two methods could be combined completely. This way, the condensation of his level would be faster and easier. The skeleton monarch is a good skeleton. Su Yang looked at the skeleton monarch, who was as dead could be, and sighed softly. Because of him, not only did he let him discover that the level of destruction could destroy the ability of resurrection. But he also let him discover that the level of destruction could also destroy the ability of resurrection. Moreover, he had discovered another way to quickly increase his level condensation. If possible, Su Yang really wanted to thank him. However, that was obviously impossible. Su Yang searched Wu Ping's body briefly. A platinum legendary skeleton longsword had extraordinary effects. However, he didn't look at it carefully. He just threw it into the skeleton lord's interspatial ring along with some other items. After he put all of them away, he would slowly check them after he was out of danger and ensured his safety. He knew very well that he was still under the threat of a god-level undead ruler. It'll take some time for the myriad world teleportation formation to be activated. Su Yang looked at the time needed to activate the myriad world teleportation formation and shook his head gently. He temporarily gave up on the idea of leaving the skeleton monarch's demigod realm through the myriad world teleportation formation. The undead ruler has only sealed off the space around the demigod realm, and his true body has yet to appear. There must be something else. But with the means of the gods, they can definitely know what is happening in this demigod realm. So now it's very likely that he's on his way. He can't be alone anymore. Su Yang started brainstorming and quickly analyzed the current situation. Soon, he roughly calculated some possibilities. At the same time, he made a decision in his mind. Destroy this demigod world and escape. Since he had already made a decision, Su Yang immediately took action. Heart Slayer, which was a 100-meter-long sword, contained boundless destructive power that gathered on the Heart Slayer blade. Then a huge blade light that could tear the sky and shatter the earth was slashed out. They kept bombarding the demigod world. Not good. It's trying to escape. In a battlefield between the netherworld and the abyss, Evil Eye Ruler, who had never left the skeleton lord's demigod realm, was watching the battle. Seeing Su Yang in the form of the destruction titan wreaking havoc in the demigod world, his eyes flickered. He did not want Su Yang to escape. He was interested in the tyrant who could become a destruction titan with white cement. He had already decided to capture him and study him. Perhaps he would be able to obtain information on the level of destruction from the tyrant, and then he would be able to master a whole new set of high-level powers. My clone is trying his best to rush over, but it will take some time. No, we can't let him escape. The Evil Eye Ruler was decisive. He used a large amount of divine power to seal off the demigod world, and also used divine power to stabilize the skeleton sovereign's demigod world. This was to ensure that the tyrant would not be able to escape before his avatar arrived. This kind of remote method consumed a lot of his divine power. His aura weakened uncontrollably. On the other side of the abyss, the unfamiliar god who was staring at him seemed to have noticed something. At this moment, the skeleton monarch's demigod realm was already showing signs of collapse under Su Yang's wanton destruction. Looking at the demigod world that was shaking and about to collapse, Su Yang's heart flashed with joy. However, in the next moment, a vast victory poured in, filling up the holy origin and strengthening the demigod realm again. The originally wavering and collapsing holy aura gradually became more stable. Evil Eye Ruler. As expected, he has been watching this place. However, this is also good news. He must have been singled out by something. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as simple as using his divine power to stabilize the demigod realm. He'll directly descend with his true body. Looking at the demigod realm that had become stable under the vast divine power, Su Yang was not surprised, as if he had expected it. At the same time, he already had a way to break out of this situation. Chapter 136, 136, Chapter 136. Start to gobble up gold, eating up 1 billion of gold. After confirming that Evil Eye Ruler couldn't come with his true body, Su Yang heaved a sigh of relief. The Evil Eye Ruler used his divine power to stabilize the demigod realm. In his destruction, Titan form, a burning destructive aura gushed out of his eyes. Feeling the destructive power in his body, Su Yang made a decision in his heart. Since it's only 1% of the level of destruction, it can't destroy the demigod realm. Then, after confirming that Evil Eye Ruler couldn't come with his true body, Su Yang heaved a sigh of relief. The Evil Eye Ruler used his divine power to stabilize the demigod realm. In his destruction, Titan form, a burning destructive aura gushed out of his eyes. Feeling the destructive power in his body, Su Yang made a decision in his heart. Since it's only 1% of the level of destruction, it can't destroy the demigod realm. Then, what about a higher level of destruction, or even a level of destruction with a 100% condensation? Ahoo! Thinking of this, Su Yang slowly took a deep breath and turned into a gust of wind, wreaking havoc in the sky of the demigod world. Then he looked at the 1.3 billion gold he had saved. Fortunately, he had not used it casually before. With the ability to swallow gold with the fortune beyond the heavens attribute, 1.3 billion gold coins should be enough to raise the condensation of the destruction level to the maximum level. He thought to himself. His aura was also a little uncertain. He was worried that the higher the level of condensation, the more gold coins he would need to spend. If such a situation really happened, in that case, even if 1.3 billion gold coins were used up, it was possible that he would not be able to increase the level of destruction to 100%. But even if the level of destruction did not reach 100%, it should be able to reach about 90%. This should be enough. Su Yang didn't hesitate any longer. Time was of the essence. Even if the Evil Eye Lord was unable to descend in his true form, he would still have other ways as an undying god. Therefore, the earlier he escaped, the safer he would be. Gold devouring. Su Yang growled softly. Then he continued to use up 1.3 billion gold under his ability to swallow gold. At the same time, the level of destruction was also rapidly increasing. 2%, 4%, 10%, 50%, 90%. When the condensation of the destruction plane reached 90%, Su Yang's 1.3 billion gold coins had been consumed to less than 300 million. I've used up the last 200 million gold coins. Looking at the destruction plane that had already reached 90% condensation, he did not intend to keep the last 200 million gold coins and spent it all. With the ability to swallow gold, the last 200 million gold was quickly used up. 91%, 97%. When the level of destruction reached 97%, he was left with 100 million gold. Su Yang's face was filled with joy. He knew that the last 100 million gold coins would definitely be able to increase the condensation of the destruction level to 100%. It was just as he had thought. Another 60 million gold was spent. The condensation of the destruction level had finally been raised to 100%. Destruction level condensation has reached 100%. Special ability, Destruction Halo's range has been greatly increased. Acquired new ability, ignore resurrection. A new ability acquired, world devour. Your understanding of the destruction domain has reached an unimaginable level, beginning to touch the law of destruction, 0.1%. As the level of destruction reached 100%, instantly, Su Yang obtained all sorts of knowledge and information regarding destruction from the Dark Conjurers. At the same time, his control of the destructive power had also become more adept. At that moment, the destructive power on his destruction Titan body became extremely dense. Each and every one of his movements carried a vast destructive power. However, the destructive power became very obedient under his control. He could completely control the destructive power. Before this, although he could also control this destructive power, he definitely could not have done it as thoroughly as he did now. In the past, he would sometimes inadvertently emit a destructive aura that destroyed everything around him and destroyed the space around him. But now, under his control, it would not emit any destructive aura. Correspondingly, as long as he wanted to, he could condense the destructive power into a single point. He was able to completely utilize the power of destruction. Ignore resurrection. World devour. There's also the law of destruction. Su Yang's gaze swept over the two special abilities of the heart that he had obtained after the condensation of the destruction level had reached 100%. And the laws of destruction. Ignore resurrection. A destruction level condensation, 100% obtained. Effect. With the buffs from the destruction attribute, my attacks have the most complete destruction effect. It can even destroy the resurrection ability. Originally, the destructive power of the destruction level had a certain chance of destroying the resurrection ability. Now that the condensation of the destruction level had reached 100%, Su Yang directly obtained the ability to destroy and resurrect. It was no longer a matter of probability. This time, with the ability to ignore resurrection, anyone who was killed by him was not qualified to be resurrected. This ability was extremely overbearing. It was very much to Su Yang's liking. Then, he looked at another special ability. A world devour. A destruction level condensation, 100% obtained. Wish effect. You are the destroyer of worlds, therefore, after you destroy a world, there is a chance to devour the world's origin. After destroying the world, you can enjoy the harvest of the world you destroyed. I wonder what kind of harvest I will get. Su Yang's eyes twitched as he thought to himself. Then he looked at the laws of destruction. He had known for a long time that above the level was the law, and laws were the powers that belonged to undying. 0.1% of the law of destruction, without giving him any special abilities or titles. However, with the support of the destruction laws, Su Yang's own destruction power was increased by several times. He was quite satisfied with this. He quickly scanned through the two new abilities and the information on the destruction law. Su Yang waved his heart slayer and slashed at the skeleton monarch's demigod realm again. This time, the level of destruction had reached 100%, and he had touched the laws. His destructive power was no longer the same as before. The demigod world sky, which had been stabilized by Hegemon Evil Eye's victory buffs, was instantly shattered. How is this possible? What just happened to Tyrant? Why did his destructive power increase so much? Evil Eye kept his eyes on the skeleton sovereign's demigod realm. He saw Tyrant slash the sky. He was instantly shocked. That was the demigod realm that had been strengthened by his divine power. Chapter 137, 137, Chapter 137. Heaven title, God of Destruction, blocking with all your might. 137, Chapter 137. Heaven title, God of Destruction, blocking with all your might. Previously, without the support of his divine power, the demigod realm could withstand tyrant's attack. Now, the demigod realm that he had consolidated, after consuming so much divine power, was directly shattered by tyrant's blade. This made the evil eye ruler doubt his own divine power. Then he sensed carefully and found something different about tyrant. He was even more shocked. After the shock, his eyes were filled with greed. At this moment, he was extremely eager to get tyrant. No, my clone won't be able to make it. We can't let the tyrant get away this time. The evil eye ruler looked at the sky of the demigod realm that had been torn apart by the tyrant, then looked at his own god clone. He couldn't sit still any longer. He wanted to get up and descend to the skeleton monarch's demigod realm with his true body. But, just as he was about to move, an attack filled with abyssal power headed for Evil Eye God. The demon god from the abyss who had been staring at him made his move. After sensing that the Evil Eye ruler's aura was a little weak, the abyss demon wanted to test him. Now seeing how impatient Evil Eye was, the abyss god decisively attacked. Damn it! Evil Eye God's divine power surged and blocked the attack. However, he kept looking in the direction of the skeleton monarch's demigod realm. When he realized that it was too late, he was instantly enraged. In his line of sight, Tyrant swung its 100-meter long blade continuously, destroying the sky and land of the demigod realm. In the next moment, the demigod world crumbled. At this time, even he could not catch up. Unwilling to give up, he once again used up a large amount of divine power and attacked Tyrant from across the void. Since he couldn't get the Tyrant, he would kill him first and then get the Tyrant's corpse later. Maybe it would be useful. Su Yang sighed. With a few swings of Heart Cutter, he destroyed the demigod world. After the demigod world was completely destroyed by him, World Devour activated. It condensed the scattered origin energy of the demigod world into an origin core. Su Yang looked at the crystal in front of him, which was condensed from a part of the demigod world's origin power, and instantly knew how to use it. This origin core could give him a lot of experience points at any time. However, he didn't choose to devour it right away. His priority was to escape. He waved his hand and put away the origin core. At the same time, destroy a demigod realm. The destruction law absorbs the destruction power of the demigod realm. A destruction rule reached 1%. You comprehended the law of destruction with platinum strength and destroyed the demigod realm. You are famous in heaven. Your deeds will be engraved in heaven. Acquired the title of Empyrean, God of Destruction. God of Destruction. Heaven's honorific title. Su Yang murmured softly, although he was very curious about the honorific title of the God of Destruction in heaven. However, he didn't take a closer look at it. It was better to leave this area first and make sure it was truly safe. Su Yang immediately opened the myriad world teleportation array and wanted to teleport away. But he quickly realized that the evil eye god had not only sealed off the demigod world, but also the area where the demigod world was. However, the power of the spatial seal wasn't as strong as the demigod kingdom. However, even so, he would have to wait for 2 to 3 minutes to activate the myriad world teleportation formation. At this moment, Su Yang sensed danger and predicted that if he didn't leave immediately, a great horror would descend. "We must leave immediately." The warning given by his danger-sensing ability made him pay a lot of attention to it. As he maintained the activation of the multiverse teleportation gate, he took a huge stride in the void in his destruction titan form. He wanted to leave the area where the skeleton monarch's demigod realm was located as soon as possible. However, the next moment, Su Yang's right eyelid twitched crazily under his danger sense. He could also feel that something terrifying was coming. Damn it! Su Yang used all his strength to open the myriad world teleportation formation, trying to shorten the opening time. At the same time, he was ready at all times, planning to consume a life point. At the moment of this danger, he would stack the killing effect and increase his strength. "They're here." Suddenly, Su Yang, who was in the destruction titan form, raised his head and looked in an unknown direction. The divine power, wrapped in a mighty divine might condensed into an unstoppable dark golden hair. The dark golden hair was completely made up of divine power. Just for a moment, under the delusion breaker eyes. From this dark golden color, Su Yang could sense the law of death, the law of bones, the law of blood, the level of destruction, the level of attack, and other various powers. These high-level laws and power were all condensed on this long dark golden hair. It shot towards Su Yang with an aura that could destroy everything. "Damn it, it can't be blocked." Su Yang immediately understood. This was a god-level attack. It was evil, ruler's full power attack. He hadn't even broken through to platinum rank yet. How could he block it? Even if you can't block it, you have to. However, even if he knew that he could not block it, Su Yang did not give up easily. At the same time, he could already feel that the myriad world teleportation formation was about to be activated. Therefore, he didn't need to block all of them. As long as he could delay for a little time, it would be enough. Just to be safe, Su Yang directly consumed 60 godhood points and obtained another 600,000 layers of slaughter status. At this moment, in his destruction titan form, he had gained more than 1.3 million layers of slaughter. His overall strength had increased by more than 1.3 million times. With such power, even if he couldn't block the evil eye ruler's full power attack, he could at least buy some time. "Roll!" Su Yang growled. In the form of the destruction titan, the low roar exploded in the void. The law of destruction, the level of death, the level of eternity. At this moment, Su Yang concentrated all his power on the heart cutter. He used all his strength to block evil eye ruler's attack. With his current life-saving methods, especially the 3,000+ resurrections he had just obtained, he would not be able to survive. In fact, he could have chosen not to resist this attack. After all, it was only one resurrection. But when his destruction level had reached 100%, he gained the ability to ignore resurrection. He didn't dare to take the risk. The evil eye dominator was a god-level undead dominator of the netherworld, an existence who had mastered the power of the law of death. Perhaps he also had an ability similar to ignoring resurrection. If that was the case, in a situation where the difference in strength was so great, no matter how many times he resurrected, it was useless. Therefore, in the end, he chose to resist with all his might. Chapter 138, 138, Chapter 138, The River Anomaly of Death. Tyrant falls into the dead river. Boom! There was a loud bang. The dark golden hair that was condensed from the Evil Eye ruler's full-power attack collided with Su Yang's Heartslayer blade. In an instant, a violent shock wave spread from the point of collision. Crack! The void around Su Yang was swept away by the aftershock of the vibration, and the sound of a mirror breaking was heard as it shattered. A spatial storm also began to appear in the shattered void. Below, in the world of the undead, countless powerful undead were shocked by the power of this attack. They all looked at the void above. This Titan. Why did the Titan appear in the netherworld? This power, it's the Evil Eye rulers. Oh my God, this Titan is fighting against the Evil Eye ruler. Where isn't that where the Skeleton King's demigod realm is? Look, the demigod realm no longer exists. The demigod realm, that's a realm controlled by demigods, and it's actually broken. Who can tell me what is going on? Where is the monarch of the Drum Tower? In the Evil Eye region, the legendary undead powerhouses were extremely shocked when they saw the scene in the sky. According to the divination of the divine realm, a titan with a destructive aura was holding a huge long blade and facing a blade of dark golden long hair. The remaining power shook the void. They had a feeling that if they were to ambush him here, they would definitely be shocked to death by the remaining power. A confrontation of this level had completely exceeded their imagination. He blocked it. Tyrant is definitely not simple. However, do you think you can block my full power attack just because you want to? The Evil Eye ruler couldn't believe his eyes when he saw Tyrant block his attack. However, he was very confident and believed that he would not be a tyrant for long. He was the lord of the undead, an undying god. A mere gold-rank tyrant, so what if he transformed into a destruction titan? If he didn't become a god, he would still be a weak ant. Just as Evil Eye ruler was feeling confident, an attack imbued with the power of the abyss attacked him. The stranger from the abyss didn't stop, but continued to attack him. Damn it! The Evil Eye ruler was furious. He used his divine power to block this attack once more. But he didn't fight back for the time being, because he wanted to see Tyrant fall with his own eyes. However, soon the scene that he saw made him feel that something was wrong. A teleportation portal suddenly appeared beside Tyrant. The Evil Eye ruler had never expected Tyrant to have the ability to teleport. Furthermore, it was a teleportation ability that could break through his successful blockade. This was definitely not simple. No, we can't let Tyrant escape. The Evil Eye ruler wasn't willing to let Tyrant escape. At that moment, the abyssal demon god attacked again. At this moment, he was faced with two choices. They could interfere with Tyrant's escape or block the attack of the abyssal demon god. He did not hesitate. This time, they directly resisted the unfamiliar attack from the abyss and used their divine power to control the dark golden hair. He wanted to destroy the portal that appeared beside Tyrant through the dark golden hair that was condensed from his full power attack. At this moment, Su Yang, when he sensed that the myriad world teleportation formation had finally been activated, he was overjoyed. He instantly pulled back his Heartslayer and tried to enter the space teleportation array beside him. But the next second, just as half of his body entered the space teleportation array, the dark gold spear turned around and flew toward the teleportation portal. F***CK. Su Yang's face darkened when he saw the dark golden spear flying toward him. This dark golden spear could actually turn. He had never considered this before. However, he didn't have time to think about it. He could only fight for time. The destruction titan form was too large, and it would take more time to enter the teleportation circle. Thus, he immediately withdrew from the Destruction Titan form and transformed into the Skeleton King form. His body flickered, and his entire body had basically entered the space transfer array. As he entered the portal, it began to close. However, before the space teleportation portal was completely shut down, swishy, the dark golden hair directly shattered the space where the space teleportation array was located. Instantly, the space shattered and became extremely chaotic. Su Yang's teleportation was also disrupted. Looking ahead, the scene of his villa on the blue planet shattered instantly. Su Yang was stunned. Then a wave of anger rose in his heart. Evil Eye Ruler, right. Stare, I'll definitely kill you. The Evil Eye Ruler was already on Su Yang's kill list, and the only one still alive on it was the Twilight Evil God. Now there was also the Evil Eye Ruler. Just as Su Yang put the Evil Eye Ruler on his kill list, in the chaotic space-time, a vast, supreme river with a mysterious and terrifying aura appeared. On this vast river, there were countless corpses of different races, big and small, and even the corpses of gods. Countless spirits of the dead were floating in the river. Dead River. It's actually the Dead River. Evil Eye God's attack actually triggered the Dead River phenomenon. This is too terrifying. Seeing the appearance of the vast river, countless undead powerhouses were shocked. The Evil Eye Ruler was shocked as well. He did not expect that the power he had unleashed when he shattered the blood space would trigger the Dead River phenomenon. Even if it was a Dead River phenomenon, it was still a dead river. The Supreme Dead River was the final destination of death in heaven. Even a god would not dare to touch the Dead River, even if it was just a phenomenon of the Dead River. The undead world where the Evil Eye Ruler was in was actually just one of the undead worlds where the Dead River flowed. All of the undead races experts, and even some of the undead rulers who had been attracted by the Dead River phenomenon, looked at the Dead River that had appeared in the void. In the chaotic space, Su Yang fell directly into the Dead River phenomenon. This scene immediately shocked everyone who looked over. Tyrant is finished. That's the Dead River. Even a god can't get out after falling into the Dead River. What a pity. I still don't know what happened. Why did the Evil Eye Ruler attack Tyrant? How did Tyrant transform into a Titan? And where did the skeleton monarch go? How did his realm disappear? Chapter 139, 139, Chapter 139. The Supreme Dead River and the Strange Half-Corpse. This is in the turbulent flow of space. Su Yang restrained his own energy to protect himself from the storm formed by the broken space. Therefore, he didn't pay much attention to his surroundings. It was only after he was thrown into the Dead River phenomenon by the spatial turbulence that he came to his senses. Dead River phenomenon. Although it was a strange phenomenon, it was actually a dead river. This was because the Supreme Dead River was like the Supreme Fate, omnipresent. Even if it was a strange phenomenon, it was actually caused by the power of the Supreme Dead River itself. Woo woo woo. After falling into the Dead River, Su Yang wasn't affected by the river due to his water controller's concept power. However, as he fell into the Dead River, the commotion he caused attracted the wailing dead souls floating in the river. These dead spirits wailed and struggled in the Dead River as they moved towards Su Yang. At this moment, Su Yang finally came to his senses. You have fallen into the Supreme Dead River. Water Controller Title Ability activated. You will ignore the effects of the dead river's water. The supreme dead river. Su Yang was stunned. He had some understanding of the supreme dead river. In heaven, it was an existence comparable to the supreme fate. It was the concept of all death. It was the home of some living beings. All living creatures in heaven, including monsters, professionals, and even gods, would belong to the dead river as long as they died. In the death river, after being washed by the water of the death river, it would become the source form of the origin. As for elementium, it was the origin of some life. The existence of the supreme dead river was to maintain life and death in heaven. Just like the supreme fate, it was everywhere in heaven. Just like in the secret dungeon, the monsters could respawn continuously. This was a concrete manifestation of the power of the supreme dead river. Correspondingly, the supreme dead river was also not something that any existence could touch easily. Even a god would not be able to break independence if they fell into the supreme dead river. I actually fell into the supreme dead river. Fortunately, I have the water controller title's ability. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. After the information about the supreme dead river flashed through his mind, Su Yang was also shocked. At the same time, he felt extremely fortunate. With the water controller title's ability, he would not be affected by the water of the dead river. Thus, it was able to break independent from the dead river. After understanding this, Su Yang immediately felt like he had escaped from the dead river. After all, even if he wasn't affected by the water of the death river, he didn't want to stay in the water of the death river, which had soaked countless people. But the next moment, his expression changed, because he felt that his ankle seemed to be grabbed by something. Then he looked around at the countless undead spirits that were moving in his direction. These undead spirits were not like the undead spirits that were their nemesis in the netherworld. This was a dead ghost that had truly died and was on the verge of death. Therefore, it was filled with resentment and wails. Under the scouring of the dead river, they could not live for long and would turn into elementium. Heaven was extremely vast and had endless worlds. Therefore, at every moment, a large number of living beings died. Therefore, the number of dead souls in the dead river had never decreased. These undead spirits didn't seem to be very strong. However, it would be troublesome if he was entangled by them. Moreover, he was still being held by his ankle by the existence in the dead river. As expected, there's a reason for the water control title's warning. After struggling for a while, Su Yang realized that he was temporarily unable to escape and could not help but think to himself. However, he would not give up so easily. He swung Heart Slayer and concentrated all his power on the blade. Then he took a deep breath and charged into the dead river. In the dead river, he saw what was grabbing his ankle. It turned out to be the intact upper half of the corpse. This half of the corpse looked as if it had just died. Faint golden blood flickered at the cut, and it was as fresh as before. One must know that this was the supreme dead river. The water of the dead river washed away everything in the river. Even a god's corpse would rot after being washed by the dead river for a long time, turning into ashes and becoming elementium. However, this half of the corpse looked as good as new. This was completely impossible. Not only that, but the palm of the upper half of the corpse was still grabbing Su Yang's ankle. Su Yang's heart sank when he saw this. This upper half of the corpse was not simple. It was definitely an existence that surpassed the body of a god. Furthermore, he was able to grab onto his own ankle, where other trajectories could be created. HMPH. Even if it has a trajectory, it's still an inanimate object. Perhaps this is just an instinctive reaction of the corpse. After all, how could a corpse in a dead river produce such a strange phenomenon? After a moment of silence, the soul fire in Su Yang's eyes flickered. He waved the heart slayer and slashed at the wrist of the corpse. The blade light flashed and only left a mark on the wrist of the upper half of the corpse. It wasn't directly cut off, but there's no reaction either. In that case, it's more likely to be an instinctive reaction of the corpse. However, since you were able to leave a mark, it seems that the Death River's water has an effect on you. Su Yang's eyes lit up as his soul fire burned. The blade in his hand continued to slash. This time, he directly cut the arm of the corpse. That was because he had seen the extraordinariness of this half-corpse and wanted to obtain half of its arm. As for obtaining the entire half of the corpse, it was too much. Moreover, he didn't dare to take too many things from the supreme dead river. This severed arm should be the limit. They all landed on the same spot on the arm of the corpse. After 10 consecutive slashes, after the 11th slash, he directly cut off the arm that was holding his upper body. After that, Su Yang quickly swam upwards. After he left the surface of the dead river, he leaped upwards and instantly left the water. Half of his arm was still holding on to his ankle. This arm is not simple. Su Yang lowered his head slightly and looked at the arm that was holding his ankle. WTF, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Is that tyrant? Seeing Su Yang jump out of the dead river, an undead race powerhouse who was looking at the dead river phenomenon suddenly exclaimed, "This tyrant can actually come out of the dead river." Breaking news, big news today. Tyrant actually came out of the dead river. This is definitely big news that can shock the entire heaven. The other undead powerhouses who were looking at the dead river phenomenon also came to their senses and were shocked. How is this possible? Tyrant can actually come out of the dead river. Chapter 140, 140, Chapter 140. The opportunity that the gods long for. The evil eye ruler was currently fighting with the demonic god of the abyss. However, he had also split off a part of his consciousness to pay attention to the dead river phenomenon. He was completely shocked when he saw Su Yang jump out of the dead river in the form of the skeleton king. Is he a monster of your undead race? It's too scary. The demonic god was fighting with Evil Eye. He had gone to fight Tyrant after Evil Eye had taken his attack. He couldn't help but feel curious, so he followed the Evil Eye ruler's gaze. He was shocked to see a skeleton jump out of the dead river one day. No, there's an ancient aura of eternity left on that arm. Suddenly, the abyssal demon god noticed the broken arm on Su Yang's ankle and exclaimed in disbelief. Then he stepped over the Evil Eye ruler and descended directly into the netherworld. He wanted to snatch half of Su Yang's arm from his ankle. Eternal aura. Tyrant, what kind of luck is this? Not only did you survive the dead river, but you also brought out an arm with an eternal aura. The Evil Eye ruler was also stunned. He was jealous of Tyrant's luck. He no longer engaged with the abyssal demon god and rushed directly in the direction of the Evil Eye region of the netherworld. It wasn't just the abyssal demonic god and Evil Eye ruler. The rulers of the netherworld, who had been attracted by the dead river phenomenon, also discovered the half-arm hanging on Su Yang's ankle. He could feel the faint, ancient, and eternal aura that it emitted. All of them instantly became excited and rushed towards Su Yang, who was above the dead river phenomenon. However, Su Yang, who had just jumped out of the dead river, instantly activated the myriad world teleportation array above him. He followed the action of jumping up and rushing into the teleportation array. This time, without any external influence, he successfully passed through the myriad world teleportation portal and left the netherworld. Lord, damn it. He's running too fast. An eternal opportunity was right in front of me, but I didn't grasp it. The few undead dominators that were the closest arrived above the dead river phenomenon less than a minute after Su Yang left. Looking at the void without Su Yang's figure, these undead dominators were filled with regret. Who is he? Tyrant, it's the undead tyrant of the Evil Eye region, a lord. Find him, even if it's convenient for the entire netherworld, we must find him. Unwilling to miss this opportunity, the undead dominators ordered their subordinates. On the way, the abyssal demonic god saw Su Yang leave and was filled with regret. At the same time, he also remembered the tyrant's name and appearance. He planned to see if he could find the Lord of the Undead in the netherworld. If he couldn't be found, he must be hiding in another world of heaven. Then his opportunity would come. Advancement mission completed. Unlocked level 7190. Mission reward. Increase all attributes by 100%. Increase independent attribute points by 1 level plus 1200 points plus 10 divinity points plus 1 chaos point. At this time, Su Yang, who had passed through the myriad world teleportation array, returned to his villa on the blue planet. Once he was free from the Evil Eye ruler's threat and truly safe, the promotion mission was also successfully completed. Su Yang returned to his original form and slowly let out a breath. He did not check the mission reward for the time being, but the information about the chaos points made him very curious. That was because his angry light was currently looking at the half of the arm that was still firmly holding onto his ankle. This severed arm was not simple. The moment he entered the myriad world teleportation formation and left, Su Yang's eyes also noticed the many undead dominators rushing toward him. He could feel the greed in the eyes of the undead rulers when they looked at the arm on his ankle. Fortunately, he ran fast. After jumping out of the dead river, he directly activated the myriad world teleportation formation above and used the back force to enter the teleportation formation and leave. He didn't stop at all. Otherwise, he might still be in the netherworld. Perhaps he might even be confessed to. Su Yang looked at the arm on his ankle and pondered for a moment. Then, he reached out and tried to pull the arm off. In the end, he realized that the arm was holding onto him rather firmly. However, it was only half of his arm. After spending some effort, he successfully removed it from his ankle. This arm was as fresh as before. It was as if it had just been cut off from the body of a living creature. But this was obviously impossible. After all, who knew how long it had been washed away by the water of the dead river on the other half of the corpse that it had been in? It must be an ancient item. With the delusion breaker eye, Su Yang spent a long time before he managed to find some information about the arm. Ancient broken arm. Source, location. Effect. The broken arm contains a trace of eternal presence, as well as some chaos divinity and ordinary divinity. Prompt, this being has fallen but has not transcended. He's already dead. That's true, they've been soaking in the dead river for so long, they must be dead. However, even so, to be able to withstand the death river's waters for so long, one can imagine how powerful he must have been when he was alive. After confirming that the owner of this arm had truly fallen, he was able to use the information he had obtained. Su Yang heaved a sigh of relief, and his heart also began to feel emotional. At the same time, he also guessed why this half of the corpse could withstand the washing of the water of the dead river. It must be related to the eternal aura in the information. But should he use this arm? Could it be that he wanted him to roast and eat this half of the arm? He thought of the divine flesh and blood that he had cuffed before. Su Yang couldn't accept it and shook his head. He really couldn't accept the fact that he had lost half an arm. He planned to use other methods to obtain the power in this arm. Very quickly, he thought of the special ability he had obtained not long ago. The world was devoured. World devouring. I should be able to. The world-devouring ability could devour the specimen garden of the destroyed world. In that case, devouring this ancient arm, which was definitely not inferior to the origin of the world, would definitely not be a problem. He picked up the ancient arm. Su Yang activated the world-devouring ability. Instantly, a destructive and devouring power appeared and enveloped the ancient arm. Su Yang's eyes lit up as he felt it. It really worked. Without hesitation, he immediately devoured and absorbed the power of this ancient arm. That's a wrap for this installment. Thank you all for watching and supporting Lord of the Stories. If you enjoyed this tale, please hit the like button, share it, and subscribe for more amazing stories. You can also explore other series updated daily in our playlists. Have a fantastic day and see you in the next episode.